Well, hey everyone. So my name's William Vanstone. So we're having a fireside chat here. Well, not really fireside, waterside. Just like FDR, what he used to do, he would gather everybody by the fire and talk. So yeah, tarot. So there's the Vanstone tarot. It's available on my website, suncrosspublications.com. And well, it's complicated how I got into it. So my earliest experiences with tarot were with my grandmother. My grandmother was a French-Canadian Catholic. She was loosely affiliated through her relatives with Opus Dei, which I'm not sure if anyone who's watching this has heard of that, but it's like kind of like a cult in the Catholic Church. And she got what's called the Pope's blessing. Not really the Pope though, her local bishop or whatever, because she was elderly and sick and really couldn't do much kind of work. So they gave her the blessing to do tarot readings, and she was like a psychic medium. And yeah, she was my great grandmother, and I didn't know her that well. I met her maybe once when I was a kid. Not my grandmother, yeah, she was my great grandmother. Anyways, so that's my earliest experiences with it. And then my mentor, Frank Thayer, who's also on the website, he introduced me to a lot more of it, and we had several discussions. And so I wrote a story called Sacred Heart of the Purple Dawn that's also available on the website. And I couldn't figure out a way to make it like a print book because it's a complicated choose your own adventure story. And there's some elements that I put into it where, yeah, making a print copy of it's not possible. So I needed some illustrations, and so I'm really into art. I'm really into using something called scraper board. And so then I started, it took me over 2 years, and then it materialized into a deck. And so, yeah, there's a lot of stuff in the tarot. Well, how I interpret the tarot is it's like Carl Jung, Jungian archetypes, and that's how we analyze dreams. So each of the cards, okay, there's the major arcana, so that's 21 or so cards, and then the rest of them. So each of them is an archetype. So in this life, it sort of reflects a universal human experience. You will either encounter each of the cards, or you will experience them or be them in some way. And you'll go through this journey. It's like a process, alchemical transmutation. So you start off at card 0, which is the Fool, and then you go through this journey, and not necessarily in consecutive order, but you go through all the cards where either, yes, you encounter that card, you are that card, maybe you get stuck on a card, but the end result is you go through all of the cards and you wind up at the final card, which in my deck is called the Rebus. So the Rebus is a hidden card. It's not standard to most tarot decks. It's sort of a very obscure card. And that in that card, there's the idea of it was a creature that was created in the Garden of Eve before Adam and Eve, sort of known as the perfect being, this androgynous being that was both man and woman. But really it gets into the Philosopher's Stone in Harry Potter, which is this idea of immortality. And Ernest Becker wrote a book called The Denial of Death, where he talked about, well, okay, how we can't achieve immortality in this life, so how do we do that? Well, it's in the stuff we leave behind. We leave behind a legacy. So that's either through having children or writing a book or art or music or whatever, and we pass that down. And that's how we achieve an immortality in a sense. And so, okay, tying it back into Jungian archetypes, you go through all the cards, you go through this sort of, yes, alchemical transmutation process, and then you wind up at that card. And that's sort of the culmination of everything. You can spend, a lifetime, really. Like some people, they'll get stuck on a particular card. They'll encounter card 15, the Devil, which is addiction. Or maybe you'll get stuck on card 16, the World. Or you'll encounter cards 3 and 4, the Emperor and the Empress. And maybe that's a person in your life. And maybe you'll get stuck in drama, doing stuff with them. And so you might not, if you leave a life without any introspection, or you don't reflect, or you don't do anything, maybe you'll wind up stuck on a card, and maybe you won't get to the final card. You won't go through these realizations.